Hello, I'm Philip Stoughton. I am on the Addion Technologies booth here at Productronica 2023, and I'm joined by Thomas Michels of ILFA. Thomas, great to talk to you. We've known each other for a long time. You're back running a PCB company again, bold move. How do you see the industry at the moment in Europe? What are the current pressures with respect to volumes? We're hearing of some reshoring in EMS. I'm not sure whether we're seeing it in PCB just yet.
We can see it recently, but right now we have challenges. On one hand, all the shops doing defense medical are really full, while the shops doing industrial applications have their issues due to the last couple of years of COVID.
Yeah. And when you look at competing with in the global marketplace, you've got to have a willingness on the part of the customer to want a shorter supply chain, to want to buy in Europe. Do you see a shift in the way customers are thinking, or is it too early for that?
We saw shifting right after COVID because everybody noticed that our supply chain is quite fragile. Right now, due to the necessity to fill the factories and getting the situation better, we see that some of the bigger guys go back to Asia just for price, while the defense people, the medical industry, they clearly shift towards Europe and commit to Europe.
Yeah, and I think that, I see the criticality of certain supply chains as being at least perceived differently to others when you look at perhaps industrial and automotive and other sectors. You re-entered the printed circuit board industry after having the opportunity to retire, and obviously that's been exciting, but you've also recently taken on yet another role within the ZVEI to be their spokesperson on the political front. Tell me a little bit about that and how that's going.
Well, what we have seen the last years, everybody talked about CHIPS Act, CHIPS Act, CHIPS Act, which is correct, it's good, it's important that we have leading edge technology in Europe and that we get a certain market share back, so to say. But I missed the discussion about the ecosystem microelectronics. And that's something, I'm more than 25 years at ZVEI, and I'm active at EIPC, at IPC, and we said we have to give the industry a voice. Yeah. So that's what I now try to do with Xaver Feiner from Zollner, with other people, because we have to get awareness. We're going to publish a 2-pager with some more information to the politics. I was in Berlin last week, I was a couple times in Brussels, and we now see a shift that they understand, there is more than just chips.
Yeah, that's really important, and it will take time. When you look at first that understanding, once you've broken through there, what do you want governments to actually do? What's the action they can take that will secure the supply chain in Europe and by default the PCB industry?
We are not so keen to get a lot of subsidies. We would take them, obviously, but we asking for a level playing field. We just have to have the same situation in all countries. We think we are very innovative, we are very creative. Like me, we have a lot of companies in Europe where the owner is running the shop. Yeah. We have a lot of medium-sized shops, and we all are willing to expand. I expanded the last years significantly. We're going to double again within the next 3 years. So we are willing to support the industry if the industry supports us. And the politics should just make sure that, carbon footprint, for example, then energy. Germany is the country, for example, but Europe in total, but Germany in particular, we have the highest cost on energy. We have 3 times higher cost than in America. And PCB in particular is very energy intense.
Yeah, and some of that is work that we absolutely need to do. On the sustainability side, because I see that as a big benefit for having a shorter supply chain, are customers talking to you more and more about that? And are they looking for you to provide them with Scope 2 and Scope 3 data on your carbon footprint?
Yes, they do, and that's good. and we hope it's more and more. We can see this one big player now will start with a called Green Pass. So you have to provide certain data, and it is really part of the evaluation. We hope we see this from more people in our industry.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to pay a premium to do that. The other area which I think is interesting is the issue of talent. If we do have a manufacturing renaissance here in Europe, and we're certainly seeing a bit of that within the EMS industry, one of the challenges is to recruit enough people to grow. Do you see a better way of doing that and a better way of educating the potential employees, or do you see automation as being a solution to perhaps grow your business without growing your headcount?
I would think it is as well as. In Germany we have apprenticeship systems, so in Germany our education is pretty good. So the people we can get usually have already a decent education. In general, of course, it's not easy. So what we do, we grow the people in-house. So we have cooperations with universities, we have cooperation with other companies where we give people a chance, apprenticeship, we give people a chance to educate themselves within ILFA, and then we try to keep them.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you are constantly developing people and you are giving them not just opportunities but challenges, your retention should be much higher.
Yes, absolutely. And we see it, we know we call it truly young talents, and we have always 3 to 4% of our staff. We have young talents who then grow into the company.
Yeah. And what about automation in the industry? Are there the opportunities to digitally transform the manufacturing process, perhaps make the environment a little bit more pleasant, and actually make the business more efficient and more competitive here?
We can see this. So talking about my company, but also from other companies in the PCB industry, we automate significantly. We start to use AI. All of us. Germany is also helping us a little bit. We call it a digital transformation pact, where you can get some help from the government, because it costs a lot of money, but we are convinced it pays back, and it's not just about being more efficient. It's also about having a better quality, a more controlled quality.
Yeah, and less human intervention. Generally, we have greater repeatability, which is good. Thomas, thanks for talking to me. Thanks for being a voice here, but more importantly, thanks for being the voice in Berlin and Brussels. The industry absolutely needs that and appreciates that. Thank you.
Thank you. All the best.